This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Big announcement yesterday, Fitz.
Yeah, Whip, I know you're a bit emotional about this. And
What?
Tommy, our producer, sent a text message around to everyone saying that a behemoth of the radio industry is winding it up.
Never call him a behemoth.
And you know what? He has had such an imprint on the radio industry that we had to get him on. Unfortunately, John Laws couldn't join us, so we've got Ray Hadley on the line. Ray,
Bad start, Fitzgerald.
And that's not from, they aren't my words, Mr. Hadley, okay?
Kate, listen. The behemoth from the big piece of pelican shit, okay?
I know. And
Long streak.
I need to apologise to you. You've been such a big supporter of me over the years, Ray. And years ago, you were trying to get me out of here when I worked with Merrick and Rosso. You're like, what are you doing to your career? And I'd love to hear what you think about me being in with these two.
Well, I'd have to say my opinion hasn't changed, but it's just the partners have changed. Now, I thought I was listening to someone else there, a very laid-back style from one of the presenters, little whipper there, and it's great to be with you. And I can tell you there's no danger of me replacing you because I've got a non-compete was up until midday, but I'll give you a tip. Richard Wilkins will be very careful and smooth because I'll be there playing the What Does It Matter very shortly. Exclusively, I'm telling you, I've had discussions with Lachlan.
Awesome.
I'm bringing my CDs.
Awesome.
The country music countdown to Smooth.
Country music on Smooth.
Exactly, yeehaw.
I'd like to hear you do more of a love songs and dedications because I know on my wedding anniversary, my wife would love to hear a couple of sweet nothings out of your mouth, Ray.
Well, let me just tell you that belongs to Richard Mercer. I won't be usurping him doing that. But I'll pop up somewhere, but it won't be on radio. Okay.
Right, okay. So you want to do
I've
more?
already spoken to CDC. There are bus drivers' jobs going, school specials and the like. Outings for age pensioners.
Yeah.
And the good part is I don't pay because I'm now on age pension myself. So it's all well and good.
Would you go back to the taxi, Ray?
Nah, I mean that was a period of my life I'd rather forget.
Right.
Although it was in the. I'll tell you what it was. It was in the days before cab charge. Geez, there was a bit of cash in it back in those days. But, it's funny, we joke about the taxis. If I wasn't driving a taxi on a Tuesday night when I was calling the dogs at Appin, Nowra and Bulli, I would never have picked up Mark Collier at North Sydney at 2UE and taken him home and driven him mad, and he eventually gave me a start as a traffic reporter 3 months later.
Wow.
So, in a strange and perverse way, the taxis are a vital part of my journey.
It's a great story.
they are.
It's a great story.
And then 43 years, Ray. It is. And look, I'm going to get a little bit serious now, but Ray, you know what? Ray welcomed us. 14 years ago, we walked into this building here at Piermont, and Ray, I must admit, you embraced us from day one, and we've been stitching you up over the years, but we've had a great relationship, and we would like to thank you, Mr. Hadley, for accepting us into this building.
Well, there's a touch of decency about both you scallywags, and I do have great affection for you. I got a note last night. I got a lot of emails for obvious reasons, but one came from a young bloke called Matt, who worked there, and now he works up on the Central Coast. He's a lovely young fella, and
Yes.
he reminded me of some things I did for him, but he also reminded me that your mob, Nova, put a Mr. Whitby van in my car space one day, and then put some, I don't know whether it's politically correct, but drag queens dancing to disco at 4:30 in the morning in my car park one day.
Yeah.
I responded with a petting zoo with sheep and goats and little ponies pooping all over the car park of the Nova executives. Well, I do miss that sort of.
Yeah.
Well, how can you possibly survive without those things happening?
I think on that front too, Ray, I'd like to apologise. I know Fitzy will as well. I mean, we should have never, I think it was a bad taste, Fitzy, printed out a bonnet-size picture of you in the nude holding a radio award as a giant sticker and put it on your car. Sorry about that, mate.
Well, you did a worse thing. You remember you sent the so-called intern up to interview me?
Yes.
Because you said he was a young bloke that was, in need of a bit of guidance. So I thought it was serious. So this young bloke comes up, sits opposite my desk. You're outside my office, taking it all live. And then he starts asking me sensible questions about how I got the radio and what the pathways were like. Then he said, "You've got a daughter." I said, "I've got 3, actually." He said, "The youngest one's hot, mate." I said, "What are you talking about, you idiot?" And he said, no, she's really hot. I've seen her on Insta. I said, listen, I'll put your head up your arse and throw you out if you keep going. Anyway, next thing you two galoots come through, I thought, oh, no, they've got me again.
Hey, Ray, what about the time we sent the
Here
young
we go. We're going to be here all morning.
What about
5
the time
seconds of summer.
we
5 seconds of summer.
We sent a young up-and-coming artist who was into country music in for a quick chat, and then you asked them to play a little something, and it was the boys from 5 Seconds of Summer.
Oh, that was. And I'll tell you the funniest part about that. My daughter and Sophie's daughter were filthy because they love. I just said, I've got these young blokes coming to do country music. The boys said they go good. And then when it appeared on social media, they said, you idiot. It's this famous group.
It's the biggest band in the world.
We get tickets to their concert? Oh, yeah, biggest band in the world. And so you got me. Yeah, there's plenty of things you got me for. But you know what? It's been a wonderful journey, boys, a wonderful journey. It finishes on December 13. And I'm very... it's funny, last night I had plenty to do. I promised a mate I'd MC a function, so I went and did that. And then I did a bit with Paul Murray late last night on Sky News, and I got home and Save said, how you feeling? I said, really content because sometimes you know, it wasn't a rash decision, it was quite some months in the making, but when you make it, you know, you think, oh geez, what if tomorrow I don't really want to do this, if I keep going, you know? There's that doubt in your mind, but I'm out walking at the moment and I feel really content with it. And I said, we had a meeting this morning with my staff. I said, right, what happened yesterday, we forget, we move to the next step, and for the next 6 weeks we go our hardest, and no more mentions of the retirement, and we'll move to the next step. And so, you know, and I've been to 2GB for 24 years. Before that I was at 2UE for 19 years, so I'm not someone who moves about rapidly.
No.
So anyway, I might call a bit of footy if someone wants me to next year somewhere, I don't know. That's what I started doing back in the 80s. So, you know, if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And you know what? It's going to be sad to see you go, but it's going to be great to see Alan come back and fill in your shift after you've gone. Right?
Well, that's a funny thing you should mention that, because when Whipper was doing the introduction, I thought you'd got him in there. I heard a couple of and Stewardy young man's got a couple of the show here. Wonderful talent, absolutely superb talent, listen to these two galoots. That lovely girl, Kate. I loved her in Neighbours, Kate. She was just wonderful. And the other thing is, I used to sit at home and watch her, and I had my Doritos there in a bowl next to me, in the Doritos. Oh, beautiful, the Doritos. Oh, thank you.
You do that well.
All right. So that means we've got six weeks to plan a bit of a farewell.
Let's have a bit of fun with Mr. Hadley. Hold on to your hats, Ray.
All right. Okay, guys. It's always lovely.
Good on you, buddy.
We
Enjoy
love
the
you.
walk.
We do love you, Ray. We'll chat to you before you do go, mate. But well done. Congratulations.
You're a good crew. Thanks very much. Appreciate you.
See you, legend.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.